Are you living your passion? What is your passion? Welcome to the Lux Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should enjoy living their best life, their Lux life.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner, back with another episode of Lux Life Discovered. My co-host Shannon Richmond.
Hi, Rick. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. And then our guest today is Josh Gupta with Endless Beach Rentals in PCB. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
I don't know, Shannon, if you know this, but Josh is one of the first people that I connected with when I started working down here in Panama City Beach, because their rental system, we'll talk about what all they do, but I was just so impressed with that. And then when I met Josh and met Cody, it just kind of solidified a nice little friendship and connection here in PCB, and it's amazing what they do. And then as I've learned more, and we'll talk more about this too, the amount of work that goes into what they do is impressive.
I saw them at one of your concept shoots.
Yes.
That was a whole big thing.
That was fun.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little how you got into the beach rental part. And
so in 2005, I moved here, and the only way to convince my parents not to be completely upset about it was that I had a job waiting for me, and that was beach service to rent out chairs and umbrellas. And actually, at the time, I was a deckhand on a parasail boat.
Oh, really?
For the first couple seasons, and then I moved over to beach service, and so I'm kind of still doing that in life, basically.
Yeah.
But now I own my own company, and
makes it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So Endless Beach Rentals, what all do you do?
So we have a daytime setup and a nighttime setup, and in the daytime we do tents and chairs with hammocks and cornhole and stuff like that.
Fun.
And then in the night we have our bonfires. So, and that was something that when I talked to my old boss about. I keep saying my business partner and I, his name's Jared. When we talked to our old boss, he said, "Oh, I think the daytime stuff. That's nobody really thought it was that. They were wondering how it would work, even
Right.
But he said, you guys should try doing bonfires. We said that would be. We tried to do it, but it's a lot to do, and we're all busy. They all have a lot of big companies, so that's how we got the first idea on it.
And the bonfires have been a huge hit, haven't they?
Yeah. From that moment forward, I think we had one fire for ourselves the first time just to see, because no one had ever. We didn't even know you could have bonfires on the beach.
Right.
And then we looked it up, and it was like, no, they had passed an ordinance that year or the year before that there were paths forward for doing it. They had made them pretty difficult to get through, but because we had worked on the beach for so many years, we were able to, get some phone numbers of people to call and ask, and it was really good.
So
people just pointed us in the right direction. And
a bonfire sounds awesome. So do you set up for just like parties, individuals? What people who can rent a bonfire, or how do you schedule a bonfire?
So we do a lot online. Originally, we wanted to make it so that you could order it without feeling guilty by talking to anyone. Because I was like that. I thought that was the whole great scheme of Amazon, was that you could fill this card up and have it come to your house, and there was zero guilt from any human being to be involved.
If you didn't buy something.
Well, nobody knew that you were buying or what you were buying.
Right.
Yeah.
You would just buy without any kind of, without the lady at the same store seeing you in there for the third time this week. There's no, like the Chinese restaurant, that knows you keep eating Chinese food every day.
Yeah.
Because they're the place you go every day, they see you. So it's the same thing,
It's like there's a restaurant here that I go to all the time, and they don't even have to take my order. They'll just go to the kitchen and start cooking it, bring it to me.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, how often do you come here? So it's that type thing.
Yeah.
So your setups, though, they're go from very simple to very elaborate, depending on. So tell us who your clientele is, who you target.
So it's a small town. And most of our clientele for the longest time has all been locals, because they're the people who have the time to book things out and to plan. And, tourists are coming and going so fast. They see stuff they like, but they didn't have time to do it this time. And with Bonfires being so new, nobody knew it existed. Nobody knew we could even do it. So it's taken a long time for people to even think about it as an option.
Yeah.
So for the last 4 or 5 years, it's just been, predominantly locals that have built the bonfire part of things.
Right. And that's something that surprises me, because you think it'd be the tourists because they're here, but what you're saying makes sense. I hadn't thought of it from that
Yeah, because
perspective.
they saw it and they're like, dang, next time.
So you're like, right,
next time.
right,
Yeah, next time.
Will be a year later.
Right.
Everybody comes here over and over and over, but
Yeah.
but
That
it
makes
does
sense.
take
I hadn't thought
time.
about that part.
Yeah.
So, but you can do, let's start with the day services. First of all, you do beach chair rentals.
Mm-hmm.
So whether somebody wanted chairs for 2 or chairs for 20, you guys can take care of that.
Yes. Yeah. We've done, anywhere from the average family with a few kids to, some of the biggest restaurants in town, their company parties.
Right.
We've done Dat Cajun Place's company party for a few years now.
Okay.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
And so you have chairs and hammocks during the day?
Yeah.
And tents?
Yeah. They get tents and tons of chairs, and there's hammocks everywhere.
How
and
fun.
But
Yeah,
now,
it's-
they're not just chairs.
And tables.
Yeah,
Tables.
and then but you have some lounge furniture, so it's not just like the beach chairs. It's a nice setup with some of the
Yeah.
more
I
lounge
think-
type furniture that you get as well.
I think it's always like, I don't know how to rate it myself, but everybody else says, a lot of other people have said that they just wouldn't want to come to the beach again unless they had that set up.
Yeah.
Or that it's the best day they've had on the beach in a long time, because it's, that they didn't have to carry anything.
Right,
yeah.
stress free. Just go.
It's stress free.
Yeah.
And the quality and the size of everything is really good.
Right. And you've done setups for like couples getting engaged. Like when a guy wants to pop the big question, you have a setup for that as well, right?
Yeah,
Or a
we've
package.
done proposals and all of the things that people can celebrate. They have seen our setup and been like, I can do this with that.
Yeah.
And that's been the coolest thing.
Right.
Is that everybody sees it and has a different idea of what celebration they can wrap around it.
That's
True.
so cool. So is there a certain spot that you can set up your bonfires, or how do you pick where it's going to be?
It changes. The beach is funny, from year to year. I say funny, but it's business, And so you have a big contracting game that happens every winter that no one knows about. It's very stressful. And you go out and you figure out where you're going to be for the next year.
Okay.
And, we've been lucky that the places that we've worked with have had us every year since we started. I think we were very lucky that in the beginning we were the only game in town. So, people just got used to us. And now that there's competition, people just remember, well, you guys were first. So, until you screw up, you're...
Right, and you
You're
provide a
on
great
base.
service and do a great job, so that makes a big difference too.
And I think
So-
we've spent so much time just doing anything and everything we could to participate and to make it so that anybody who wanted to do a beach bonfire could get to one, or, and the same with the daytime setups.
Right.
We tried to keep the price down for a long time to make it pretty accessible. It was the number one thing when people would be like, I can't believe this is so cheap. And I'm like,
Oh, dang.
insane. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But for what it is, it's just a good deal, which is a really cool thing, because on the beach, having sold so many things out there, it was important to feel like you were giving people a lot for their money.
Right.
So that they felt like, man, this is really good and worth it.
And they're going to do it again and again.
Yeah, and
Right,
come
it's
back and
repeat
do it again
business,
and
yeah.
again.
So
And
on bonfires, do you set up like a s'more station, or can they cook, or how does that?
we leave s'mores because everybody wants to sit around and do it their way.
Right.
With the sticks and everything. And yeah, it's cool because, the kids, most of them are having their first time doing that.
How fun.
And you're just doing it over and over and over.
And then when you're at the beach and the waves and just that whole atmosphere,
Yeah.
it's just, you know.
So they order chairs, they go there, they go to the beach, enjoy the chairs, and they leave. And you drop it off, you pick it up, there's no fuss, no muss.
Yeah, yeah.
This episode of Lux Life Discovered is brought to you in part by Steiner Event Group. Steiner Event Group is a national event planner that produces results for their clients. They offer event and wedding planning on any scale, hosting bridal shows, scouting talented models, and producing riveting concept photo shoots to help their clients expand their brands, products, and services. Whether you're a business professional aiming to take your brand to the next level, planning a corporate or private event, a bride seeking to have the wedding of your dreams, or a model ready to be discovered, Steiner Event Group is ready for you.
So Schooners is nice because it has a bar, it has food, and it has bathrooms. And so on a lot of our beach, you know, we can have a fire for somebody, but if they're not renting the house above them to go to the bathroom, you know, where do they go to the bathroom? And so for us, it just didn't make sense to try and even do that because people need to be able to use the restroom while they're at their bonfire. So we focused on, you know, restaurants and places where they want the public, because condos really want their own guests to use their bathroom, but they don't want, you know, people from who are staying in an Airbnb across the street,
Right.
which is such a big part of our market now.
But what an experience for a family to come down with their kids and see the beach for the first time and be able to have chairs delivered, a bonfire with s'mores.
Well, it takes all that stress. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just eliminates that part. Also, like their calendar, that it's just like at your office. Like for the week's work plotted out, that's like a feat in itself because it's pretty elaborate and you cover all of Bay County, right? So I mean, so they've got all that figured out. And what's your typical day? Like in the summer, for example, what time is your typical day start?
It's very scary. It would be very scary for most people.
Yeah,
there are days where, you know, you have like a wedding and an engagement and a birthday party and, you know, just someone who's on vacation.
Yeah.
And all of them think their event is equally important.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
none of them know that there's a wedding down the road. So that's one thing. And then, you know, with all the daytime stuff, it's got to be the consistency because it's every day.
Yeah.
You know, same time every day.
So the repeat customers, for like a condo or a hotel on the beach, that's what you're talking about, that type thing? Yeah. So how many people do you have working for you?
Oh, that was my question.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That really fluctuates.
I bet.
That really fluctuates. There are times where it feels like I have 10 different people that I'm calling at different times to run different directions. And then, you know, we had guys come in last year and you could pretty much give them like a set of equipment and give them the list every day and tell them where to go. And they were just kind of off, you know, doing their own thing, picking up, setting out, picking up, setting out. They get to know the families that they're working with all week and stuff. So that's another part.
So on your business, I don't know if you were thinking about this too, but like how many, okay, so for like people coming out of town, or how much of your business is tourist business? How much of it is like consistent local? Is that a good, I don't know if that's a...
Well, because in the beginning it was all locals but now he's been in it year after year, so I bet you have a lot of...
Yeah, I would say in the wintertime, it's just so many, it's just, you know, there are points where it feels like it's all locals, you know, those are the only people. And then in the summer, you know, it's just all the tourists are in town, so then it starts to become... But you have to remember, all the locals are busy in the summer, so they're not doing these big events either.
Right.
You know, but then in November, they have time, and that's when the company parties
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Do you have any downtime? Is there any downtime at all?
I think that I don't. I think that I'm supposed to do January, and I missed doing that this year. Yeah, it's hard, you know, everything, because it ends so abruptly, and then it starts so quickly again.
Yeah.
And it just seems like...
And I think our area is becoming a year-round season, so I don't think... you get a break.
That's what I was going to say. We've talked about in a previous podcast with different people about, you usually have your downtime like November or December, and then, through like.
Pick back up in March.
Yeah. But that's kind of changed lately. So.
I mean, we were busy all through December.
Yeah.
We were busy through it
Well,
we were busy
Bonfires,
until the
perfect,
weather got too cold and windy.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just you start canceling everything.
So what do you do if it's a windy night that you're not expecting? You just have to cancel it? Is that, or how do you?
If it's
'cause that
too
has to,
windy and cold, then we call and ask how much you want this.
Yeah.
Because some people, they don't care. Their event is planned. They have this thing. And if it lasts 5 minutes, that's all it needed to do. And, so you have to make sure that if you're just saying, oh, well, I don't know, if we can make your birthday party. And they're like, because I'm thinking it's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
To
They're
them, it's
from
the best,
they're from
yeah.
Maine.
Right. And to them,
These people are
cold is
not,
relative,
you got to
right.
remember, they're not from here all the
Right.
time. So
Right.
sometimes they're insistent because in Minnesota, it's fine.
Right. So they're cold here and they're cold there, two different colds. It's like, yeah.
I just don't think they're scared.
Right.
Like we're thinking they're going to be scared.
Right.
That's why you have to call and ask.
We have to
Yeah.
make sure,
Yeah.
and we'll double check because it does suck when a company sets you up to fail, and they don't let you know that it's not comfortable out there, or hey, it's really windy. Have you been to the beach today?
Yeah.
Because at your house, where you've rented 3 blocks away, it's
The
not windy,
Right.
But on the sand, it's
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
nothing blocking the
And I'm
wind.
sure they appreciate that fact too.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like you said, if they're not from here and they don't think about that, there is a huge difference between inland and the beach.
Yes.
As far as
Yeah.
wind and all of that. So it's a good point.
Yeah.
And I can see why the northerners coming down enjoy the bonfire so much, and not just but the locals too, but especially those that are coming from colder areas who still enjoy being outside. And I get tickled because there's a lady from Tampa that I know that I do business with, and she'll always tell me, she said, some of you tourists must be down here in Tampa. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, they're in the water. Locals don't get in the water this time of year. So she'll tell me that periodically. And I think that you see that here too sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, this winter we saw some crazy stuff.
So,
Some people swimming on the water is steaming because it's 35 degrees,
Yeah.
40 degrees outside.
And they're out there in the water.
And they're out there.
my
And
life may actually be one of those today.
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
sight.
So,
So what's some of the craziest like that? What's some of the craziest things you've seen out on the beach since you're always out there?
Oh, well, I used to work behind Spinnaker in La Villa for spring break.
oh my gosh. That's,
Look,
Well,
this is a PG.
I actually quit the year that it made Fox News was the year that I walked away. It was very strange. I walked away, and then all of a sudden they started talking about it and stuff, and it was too much.
Our beach with the
It was
families now
definitely
is
too much.
amazing.
It's so much
Yeah.
better.
Isn't it so nice?
It's funny
Yeah.
how much I was mad about it then, and I did drive a cab for a couple of years, and I have to say that we made a lot of money
Oh, I
driving
bet.
kids around. That was it. You just
It's
driving
hard.
them here and there, and
Yeah.
I mean, spring break was wild, but it was also very, very good
Lucrative,
money.
yeah.
I did well.
It's hard to, of course, we used to come here for spring break during that time, and it's just hard to imagine the contrast of the old PCB, I'll say old PCB college those days, and the PCB now, because when we were married with children, I think the boys were like 9 and 10, and my daughter would be about 4 then. We were in at Gulf Shores for the Orange Beach for the week, and I thought, let's go over to Destin. We haven't been there since college, and check it out. And so we're in our family van, driving down Front Beach Road, and it took like 2.5 hours to go 2 blocks. And, I mean, it was typical college spring break. And after about 2 hours of being, stuck, I'm like, we're getting out of here. And of course, my kids are young, our sons are young, and they're loving all the views and everything. And I'm just like, we have to go. And so later when my daughter, after she got married, had children, she's like, I want to go to to Panama City Beach. And this has been like 6 years ago. And so we came back and just loved the difference. And that's why we fall in love with Panama City Beach.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But did you know Pine that owned Pineapple Willie's before he passed away?
Not personally. No.
Okay, well,
everybody knows who
yeah,
he is.
he was a guest on our podcast a few weeks before he passed away, and I didn't know this, and I don't think you knew it to that time, but he's the one that went to the legislature to have spring break stopped here in Panama City Beach.
Is he?
Yeah. And,
Isn't that crazy? And he owns restaurants and he would make money that
Yeah,
way, but he
yeah.
wanted a good family presence here.
Right,
Yeah.
because he had his Humanitarian of the Year award that the chamber had given him, so Shannon asked him about it, and he told us who presented it to him that night. He goes, and that's when he said, he was on the other side of the issue, but he came around and we made friends. But Pine was a character. So so it's amazing business community, how everybody pulled together and eventually came together after all of that.
I think there were people that just wanted to see them continue to somehow make money off of it.
Yeah.
But control it.
Right.
And it seemed like to me, I was thinking along the terms of Bonnaroo and places like that where they have 100,000 kids come.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like that. And people are nice and it's relatively controlled. Yeah. You just charge a lot of money and, make beers $16 a piece and nobody will drink them. That was my thought.
Well, plus your equipment would be all destroyed.
We would just shut down for all of March until it was over.
Yeah, March is just that bad month.
Yeah. We actually originally our logo was in cursive because we thought young people wouldn't be able to read it.
Well, that's going to be true now for sure.
This will make sure that our target market has to be able to read cursive.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
That was an inside joke, though. Yeah.
Right, that's great. Well, and little do we won't go into that, but little do we know in 20 years they'll not be able to read it.
Yeah.
So what is your biggest challenge ahead of you for your company, you think?
I suppose it's the coming demands of the city as far as fires are concerned. I think that it's going to be kind of in the next few years, there's going to be fires up and down the beach, and it's going to change how many people are asking for them, and the demand may go up quite a bit. And the businesses that exist now, will we all be able to handle it? I know that we've all had to grow and change how we do things.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up because your services are offered off the beach as well.
We do. That's a funny thing because it's such a small town.
Yeah.
So
everybody lives here says that, and to me, it's not. It's just you think of Panama City Beach so much larger than what it actually is.
Yeah. So people have been asking us to bring our stuff to their houses.
Right. And the corporate events off the beach. Yeah.
So. And can you do those?
Oh, we've done it. Yeah. We did a bunch of Christmas parties in people's backyards this year.
Isn't that cool?
Fun.
Yeah.
That's what they already had a big thing planned, and we're just another part of what they do. Yeah. Some have music, and then have you ever seen Oyster Rick? Do you know who that is?
The names where I can't place. I'm
Oyster Rick. He does. It's called 38 Oyster.
Okay.
But he brings the vibe to your house, basically.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's amazing. He's booked out for months and months and months.
Write that name down.
I know, really.
But if you got him in here, he's a hoot, man. He's a good guy.
So you like doing the parties that he's going to be there?
Well, you get lucky and see that he's there. You're like, okay, that's why they hired us, because they're doing like a big thing.
Yeah.
Rick brings his own bar. He shucks oysters in your yard or in your front yard or wherever you want him to.
Really?
By the pool.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's fun.
Yeah.
See,
he brings all the oysters.
There's a networking,
he grills
finding
them.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So when you know he's going to be there, you know it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
It's
Yeah.
like having an oyster bar at your house.
Interesting.
And his vibe is good. You know,
Yeah.
his personality is great for it.
And that
I don't know
probably-
how he does it.
I'm
every
sure
day.
that helps with what he does because right personality, you know, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work. He's got a big setup, loads
Yeah.
and unloads.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, make a note of that name.
I know it.
Yeah,
So-
these kinds of guys are you know,
Yeah.
it's funny. I think when he started, it was just kind of a 30A thing, and now he's up in Tennessee and down South Florida, and
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
yeah.
he's
Interesting.
getting tired to go all over the place.
He's like some other people I know. You have the money, and we will travel. So so it's good.
This episode of Lux Life Discovered is brought to you in part by Orville's Men's Store. Thank you, Orville's Men's Store, for supplying the men's clothing for today's podcast. For the absolute best in casual and dress wear for men, visit orvillesms.com. That's ORVILLESMS.com.
So, of course, we're getting close to, by the time this airs, we'll be in the middle of the busy season and picking up for the summer. So, are there any challenges you see that ahead that you can think of, or?
There's definitely going to be equipment demands.
Right.
You know, we have to keep very careful track of what we're offering out to people.
Yeah.
And how many promises we make, because you can't fill everything out and do 4 events, and then your 5th one you go back to the shed and
there's nothing
everybody
there
goes,
yet.
"Where are all the chairs?" And you go,
At the last 4 events.
Yeah.
they are," and then you have to think, "Where are the chairs?"
That's
Because with the daytime
logistics,
stuff, sometimes they can be all up and down the beach.
That's true.
And then you
yeah,
need an
yeah.
event that night, so you're
you
hustling.
you gotta make sure you do the counts right and that you do not end up in that. We've made every mistake you can make.
Have you really?
Yes.
Well, and that's how
you
we
learn
learn.
so
yeah.
much making mistakes. Let me tell you.
Well, see, I'm one of those people. I have to learn from experience, so I understand that very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Well-
for example, with weddings, we probably set up weddings 5 hours before your wedding is, generally.
Just to make sure.
a stupid amount of time before your wedding.
Well,
That's just how
good.
you have to do
And that's a
this.
planner's dream right there, because it's better than waiting to the last minute and you're thinking.
Well, that's
are they
another
gonna show
reason
up?
is because of the planners.
Yeah.
Because if you're even close to the time, they're not happy. So
A planner not happy? I can't imagine that. So, no, but that does make sense. There's a lot that goes into what you do that most people wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
Logistics,
yeah.
inventory. That's a lot that, lots
And
of
then
people
the constant propane needs.
Right.
Propane it's insane.
And who knew that was a big issue?
Man, this
Yeah.
year they came around. I was going to tell you this. This year they came around and they shut down every person, and they made them go get propane certification because
Really?
apparently nobody in our town had done it.
Yeah.
So at one point, every single propane place had shut down,
Interesting.
and they weren't allowed
Things
to.
you
And
don't
they
know.
all had to just go do this dumb class,
Yeah.
and
And now you can
Check.
get propane
now you
again.
can get propane again. But
Wow.
that was like, I think it took them a month. It was
So
just
what
wild.
happened to your business during that
We
time?
just- you could not find propane at the North Lagoon Mart for a solid month. We made sure that it was sold out every day
Oh, wow. So it was you guys getting it
because
all.
we just exchanged and exchanged and exchanged. Until,
Wow.
Well,
yeah.
you learn how you have to survive. So yeah, right.
Yeah, we were worried that it was an actual real thing, like a propane shortage, but it wasn't.
Oh.
It was more just the
It was
certification.
this one little technicality that they got him on.
But who knew?
Yeah, and they tried to keep it a secret. I don't know why it was a big secret. It wasn't like they were, doing anything wrong.
Right.
They had come up with this new thing, this new standard.
Interesting. That's always interesting. All the different things that come up and things you want to scratch your head about. It's like, really? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well, good deal. Well, Josh, we're out of time, but it's been a quick 30 minutes for
Yeah.
sure. But thank you for joining us today. We
Thank you very
appreciate
much
you
for
being
having
here.
me. Thank you so much.
Shannon, anything you want to say
No,
before
I'm
we
just
go?
super excited to see them all up and down the beach.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We get caught up in, like, we have guests on, we're kind of sitting here with our mouths open.
Like
sometimes.
listening, going.
Yeah, and then we thought, we're supposed to talk because, it's interesting to hear other people, stories, what they're involved with. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you again. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, good deal. And that concludes our episode of Lux Life Discovered, and we will be back soon with our next episode. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support our show, leave us a review. That's the #1 way to help this show reach others just like you. Join us next time for another Lux Life Discovered.